Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote. Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
For writers and public personalities, it's becoming increasingly important to have an online presence. This normally takes the form of a website and social media. However, things like a cluttered site or broken links can scare potential readers away. It's time to get a health check. Until the 30th of June, Black Wolf Editorial Services is offering a special mid-site health check package. Get a new bio for your site. Have the site navigation and general layout assessed. Get a review of your Twitter activities. Get an objective opinion about your public Facebook page. Find out what works well and what could potentially scare your readers away. And all this for $35. At the end of the day, the face we put online will be the one that most people will see. Let us help you put the best foot forward. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing to maturity. For full details and a list of other services, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all set to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. The leader in talk radio on the internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for point of view.
All right, welcome to Jessie's Point of View, day 3 of Jessie still not being here because, again, she is away at a conference, and I hope she's having fun. A much-deserved break, I guess, if you want to even call it a break. But Jessie definitely works as hard as can be to make sure that KLRN is held together and working together. So thank you, Jess, wherever you are, because I'm sure you'll pop in and listen and make sure I'm doing everything right. So, today's episode, I want to start and primarily stay in Asia. We might move down from Asia, from China to North Korea, but we're going to start with Asia. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the rising tensions in the South China Sea. Now, I got a video clip to explain it to you. I will try to explain the best I can. Essentially, China sees a giant fish, petroleum, and gas market in the ocean, in the South China Sea, and they're trying to stake claims to it. Now, this goes in direct violation of UNCLOS, the law of the sea. Interestingly enough, they are making their own artificial islands and constructing on them to stake claims to these newly formed land. The United States has condemned such action because it has mutual military pacts with countries like the Philippines. But you will see how interesting or dangerous this can be by this audio clip. So here we go.
A lot of countries have competing claims to different parts of the South China Sea. But if you look at this 9-dash line, so-called, China claims virtually all of it down to Indonesia and nearly the coast of the Philippines. And it's been very ambitious backing those claims, constructing a network of man-made islands. So that island we talked about, it was a reef, Fiery Cross, in 2006. Look at it a couple of years later, you get a sense of the scale of the construction here. And this has really raised concerns among some of the neighboring countries that also have claims to the region. The Philippines, for example, is taking China to court at the International Court of Arbitration at The Hague over these claims in this island building.
So we have the United States calling out China for its activity and its military activity in the South China Sea, the Philippines taking China to court The Hague. But what about the other neighbors of China? What are they doing to counter China in the South China Sea?
Well, some of them, believe it or not, Vietnam, one example, have been basically kind of calling on the U.S. to act as a counterbalance in the region. And that's incredible if you consider Vietnamese-U.S. history of just a generation or two ago.
So, the interesting part of this is that the United States has actually sent naval ships to the South China Sea to defend their friends Vietnam and the U.S. interests there, because clearly this is a power grab by China. China is trying to expand its land, expand its territory, and thus expand its resources to compete with the United States and North America, keeping in mind that North America holds 2/3 of the world's natural resources. Evidently, it can kind of be seen as an issue that China, if they want to get ahead, needs more resources. There's massive fish stocks in the South China Sea. There's massive petroleum deposits in the South China Sea. There are massive, gas deposits in the South China Sea. So, if China truly wants to expand not only its independence of resources, this is a clear and obvious move. But the fact of the matter is it's against international law, UNCLOS, which you can look up and understand for yourself, that this is in a clear violation. Be it that we only are allowed a certain amount of miles, I believe it's 300 nautical miles, I believe, off your coast is considered your fishing zone, your zone, your ocean zone. So they are going many, many miles beyond that, claiming all the way down through the end of the Philippines. And it's dangerous, because this is simply a power grab. This is similar. I guess one can equate it to Adolf Hitler almost. His expansion to the Netherlands and his expansion into the Reichland. Not the Netherlands, the Reichland. It was simply just everybody turned the other cheek to it and said, oh, alright, but no more. Well, if we take the side, if NATO, if the United States, if the Asian countries just say, okay, but no more, you know that those Asian countries are going to be next eventually. Now, if I could say that there is a top 5 list for where World War III would start, I would definitely look at the South China Sea. Because you already have the United States pinned against China, and it just is a messy, messy situation there. So, that's what I gotta say on the South China Sea. I think it's messy. I think we have to get a better grasp on the situation there. And I think that our allies in the area, and it kind of feels weird to say, but our allies in the area, Vietnam and the Philippines, drastically need to increase their vocal and their, I guess, political effort to expose China and what they're doing, because it is wrong. And I'm glad that the Philippines are taking them to international court on this. I don't know what that will actually do for them, be it that they're already in violation of international law. But you be the judge, you look it up, you decide, is China right? I'm sure you'll come up to the same conclusion that most of the international community is coming to, and that is absolutely not. Alright, but next I want to move on to a North Korean defector. So, in North Korea, it is no surprise that many people will be defecting from that country. I believe it's 27,000 have defected. But here is an audio clip from, this is from Reuters, and it's giving a glimpse at the man who's just defected North Korea. And the title of the webpage that you want to go look at it is "For Elite North Korean Defector, a Job and Bodyguards Await in the South." So check this out. Really fascinating how he, I was actually just talking about this before I played the clip. So my girlfriend and I were watching the Olympics together, and we see that the North Korean team is playing ping pong. I think it was against China. And she asks me, she goes, "Don't you think that when these people, are flying over Rio, or they see what the other teams are like, they're going to want to defect?" Well, this man worked outside the country. He worked in Great Britain. He was in charge of the Communist Party of Great Britain, or at least he spoke there as far as I understand. And I know he worked internationally. So I guess the answer to that question is yes, they'll want to defect. So here is the audio clip.
This man is the most senior North Korean diplomat ever to defect to the South. The former North Korean deputy ambassador to the UK, Tae Yong-ho, is now safely in Seoul with his family. His defection is an embarrassing blow to North Korea's isolated regime, but the repercussions don't look too worrying for Tae. Other elite defectors say round-the-clock protection and a comfortable job at a think tank now await. Defector Kim Kwang-jin used to work for a North Korean insurance firm in Singapore. Now he works at the Institute for National Security Strategy, run by South Korea's spy agency NIS. South Korea's government offers jobs to some defectors, but not all, he says. Of the roughly 27,000 North Koreans who have fled the north, most struggle to fit in, often economically marginalized. It also takes months for them to be screened. But the well-connected are treated as a valuable resource, able to shed light on a secretive neighbor. Interrogation can take just 24 hours, Kim says. Tae Chu-hwal was a colonel in the North Korean army before defecting. He says it is most likely Tae will work for the same institute as Kim. Still, there are security concerns. Many defectors change their names and stay away from the spotlight. Defections have been on the rise this year, after a brief decline since leader Kim Jong-un took power in 2011.
Alright, so, interestingly enough there, we see defection. Something is not working, and I wonder that if in my lifetime we will see the collapse of North Korea. And I mean that seriously. I know that they have a strong grasp on the area, but I really wonder if North Korea can sustain itself. If it's trying to move into the international community, then how can they do so effectively while keeping their people repressed? I remember watching once on the History Channel. It might have been Natural Geographic, but it was about how when people in Romania saw the show Dallas aired in their country, because the leader at the time felt it would be a good idea to show how greedy Americans live. It didn't do that to the ad effect. It showed the Romanian people who were under communist regime 2-car garages, jeans, and everybody would have them, and refrigerators and whatnot. And they realized this is not how we want to live, and shortly after overthrew and killed their president. So ask yourself, please, do you think the communist government of North Korea can sustain itself when its GDP is just $22 billion? And I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Be it that, the net worth of Star Wars is $21 billion a year. So Star Wars is almost worth just as much as North Korea, just to put that in reference. And I would like to just explain that, for all these people defecting from North Korea, this one being the most highly profiled in a long time, goes to show you that, well, it's getting up there high up in the ranks. I mean, if the high-ups are now leaving the government, it goes to show that there is A, word spreading in the higher end, but B, he was also foreign, so it makes more sense. But to the effect that, when will this trickle down? Because clearly it has, in some circumstances, we again seen 27,000 people defect since Kim Jong-un took over. But I really am just curious to know, can it sustain? That is my ultimate question here, is will North Korea be able to sustain itself as a country with the words and the ideology of the outside inevitably coming through? You cannot keep this secret forever. And I beg the question of, do they know already? Do the people of North Korea know they're getting the raw deal? Do they know that they're being lied to? I think yes. I think yes. Then again, people have believed more crazy things than you and I could probably fathom, but I would beg to say the answer is yes, and the time for strike, the time for, overthrowing might be around the bend. Might be within the next couple of years. Now keep in mind, if you look at the numbers, to combine the two stories, China and North Korea kind of have a good deal together, and it's almost ironic. Because we are big supporters of China. At least that's what our trade agreements would say, and that's what we would make obvious by how much money we are in debt to them. They are our biggest international debtor. But now North Korean and Chinese relations may be not so good. For the longest time, I'm sure everyone can recall a statistic that actually stuck out in my mind, was that North Korea was fed 60% of its resources were coming from China. Be it that they were coming in electricity, they were coming from food, water, basic resources. Now are actually... where was I? So 60% of their resources comes from China, but now it might be time to say a goodbye. See, China, apparently, is estranging itself from North Korea, and they continue to fester, if they continue to fester and deepen their nuclear testing. Following protracted negotiations in the aftermath of Pyongyang's fourth nuclear test, the subsequent satellite launch, the UN Secretary Council has imposed far more service restrictions on North Korean trade, finance, and maritime activities. The resolution, which passed on March 2nd, and for which China was a key drafter, this is nonsense, but anyways, the point is that China is now retracting itself from North Korea, and this might be a big deal to bringing China to the table. As the United States sanctions worked so well on Iran, at least till Europe decided to pull out, this could be big. Quote, "For the first time, China has begun to fully acknowledge that North Korean actions pose direct threat to vital Chinese security interests." Another quote to read to you, "The driving factor is that China is no longer prepared to tolerate the cavalier, near contemptuous attitude of Kim Jong-un." And I think that says enough that China and North Korea might be severing ties, breaking up, so to speak, of their long, odd-lasting relationship. And finally, for this part of the show, I want to talk about a game. I want to talk about a game sweeping the nation, at least it was. I mean, I don't really hear about it anymore. Well, no, excuse me. I lied. I do hear about it all the time, but I don't hear about it to the same effect that I did hear about it. And what I'm talking about is Pokemon Go, of course. So, with Pokemon Go, it is now in Asia. And, you know, to talk about, first off, Pokemon Go, I want to talk about a little bit about Nintendo. With Nintendo, they had longly been suffering through the 90s, or since most of the 90s, and, you know, they made the Wii, and that gave them a big boost, I guess. But now Pokemon Go is on the rise. But I want to play a quick clip to just show a little bit of the, as CBS News put it, the dark side of Pokemon Go. But then I want to get into what it's doing in Asia. And what it's doing in Asia is, well, amazing. So here, I'm going to play this audio clip if it ever loads. But in the meantime, what it's doing in Asia is phenomenal. Alright, so have a listen to this audio clip, but never mind because it is not working. So I'm just going to go straight into the story, and if it ever loads, it loads. In Pokemon Go, just came to Asia on August 5th, I believe, as it came to the rest of the world a couple months earlier. So the game, again, launched in Southeast Asian countries on August 5th, but that was a month after the US, New Zealand, and Australia. But believe me, it has been just as successful as it has been in our country. According to this article from Fortune, from Indonesia to Hong Kong and Cambodia, the wildly popular Nintendo augmented reality app is also driving lifestyle changes for many gamers, who must trudge through real-life locations in their quests. So what this means is that, yes, as in every part of the world, the game must make you walk and make you move. And in fact, they've been banning users forever if they are found to be using their cars, using any other mode of transportation than walking. The game is supposed to get you to get up, get out, and walk around. But the interesting thing is, now, as a result of Pokemon Go, well, people are demanding better utilities. And what I mean by that is, crappy connection is pissing off Pokemon Go players. So gamers are fueling a boom for the modern makers in the area with patchy transmission signals. Asian fans of the smartphone game Pokemon Go are hunting out the best telecom providers and network gear to overcome the hurdle posed by patchy network signals in their race to capture virtual cartoon characters. The interesting thing now is that in these Asian countries, they are now searching for the best connection to help them play a game, which is interesting. But the focus of this article is not the people in the major cities of these countries. It's the rural people. And if we can learn anything, if history is any inclination to what happens when people get connected, well, it seems that their lifestyle goes up. They demand more from their government, and they become more involved. When people in countries all over the world had access to social media, from the Arab Springs and Facebook in Egypt, to videos of cops shooting unarmed black men in the United States. Videos go viral instantaneously. With better connection service, with better internet connection, we could see the rural population of Asia going from being very poor to a boom in the next couple of years, which is what fascinated me so much about this article. If I could continue reading this blurb to you, we can bring the modem to play, especially at places where the signal is hard to find. I cannot pronounce this man's name, told Reuters by telephone. He and his friends live in central Java, a province famed for its idyllic paddy fields and mountains, used to spend leisure time playing strategy games at home. But now, armed with a new device, they increasingly venture out to catch Pokemon. I mean, the age of augmented reality is going to change the world. But, let me just tell you, there is a dark side to Pokemon Go of muggings, of stupidity. I saw that 2 people fell off a cliff playing Pokemon Go. Some people walked into busy streets. There have been people who shut down highways. And, you know, I just have to say, in relation to this game that Nintendo has put out, amazing. I tried it. I didn't like it. But the world seems to be loving it. So the game officially launched over a month ago. But tens of thousands of people are enthusiastically buying or adopting the app. They're not buying it, excuse me. They're downloading it. And among the 250 million people who have gotten it, many started playing using proxy sites to access the app, which means that they're going around the App Store to get it, to still try to hack it. But it seems that doesn't matter, because again, the Pokemon Go and Nintendo company are striking back against that. But just to wrap your minds around this, folks, there is a game that augments reality, that is making people get up and walk. They're enjoying this walk, and it is just the craziest thing. But I mean, I don't like it. I don't enjoy Pokemon Go. My girlfriend likes it. My friends like it. I just can't catch on board with it. Alright, but for now, we are going to catch a quick break. When I get back, don't forget who I am. I'm Bryce Robbins, host of Opinion Nation, which you can catch every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week is a special episode because it is my last episode from sunny New Jersey. I'm going to have a 9/11 truther running for president come on the show, so you're not going to want to miss it. And stay here for Jess's point of view. We'll be right back.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques to the short story through to the line edits to the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, we are coming back. For some reason, my other intro liner didn't play when I wanted to come back on, but that's all right. Now, I want to get back actually to North Korea, which I was going to talk about before, but for some reason I wasn't getting the information up. But according to CNN, the U.S., or in the U.S., we have we've shrunk the warning time for nuclear attacks on America coming from North Korea. Might be scary for you. So have a listen to this clip about what the heck is going on.
Tell CNN that intelligence agencies are watching significant new North Korean military steps that increase the threat to the U.S. and its allies and decrease the early warning time in the event of an attack.
They have been exceedingly active in demonstrating capability.
The latest intelligence analysis concludes North Korea is now aggressively testing medium and long-range missiles, warheads, and nuclear devices, and it no longer cares if the world sees its test failures.
When you have this many tests, you're eventually going to get it right. That's what concerns me.
Kim Jong-un is trying to demonstrate to the world that he has capability, both in terms of the nuclear test as well as ballistic missile.
New satellite images reveal activity at North Korea's nuclear test site. A canopy now blocks views from spy satellites. Road mobile missiles, difficult to track, have been tested, as have intercontinental missiles that could reach Alaska. The U.S. also now assumes North Korea has a rudimentary, miniaturized nuclear warhead essential for a nuclear attack.
As soon as they have one test that they could classify as an extreme success, then we're talking a whole different ballgame in their potential to threaten.
Meanwhile, the highest level diplomatic defection ever from Kim Jong-un's North Korean regime.
Socialism is not something in the air.
North Korea's deputy ambassador to the UK defecting and reaching safety in South Korea. Last year, the ambassador appeared loyal.
If you read our papers and the magazines and the photos, you can see how socialism is carried on and put into practice.
A South Korean government spokesman says the ambassador wanted out.
I am aware that he defected due to his yearning for liberal democracy.
Alright, so let me just state, getting back onto the North Korean issue, my question is, if we don't watch North Korea fall and implode itself, when will we step in? When will the United States? When will NATO? When will U.S. forces? When will Chinese forces? When will the world step in and stop this? Because the fact of the matter is the issue is at our door, and if we don't stop it, somebody must. Now, North Korea has become increasingly more scary in the sense that, as that man just stated, the more and more you practice, the better and better you're going to get, right? If you keep hitting baseballs all day, well, probably one of them is going to be hit over the fence, or maybe one of them will be hit into the outfield. One of them is going to be good. You might miss a couple, but, you just need that one good one, and that's all you really need. So my scariest idea is that they get one, and it's everything that Bush and Cheney said about Iraq is now true, only with North Korea, that there could be a mushroom cloud over D.C. in 45 minutes. Alright, but, again, now there apparently are new lasers that could shoot down a nuclear missile coming from the United States Defense Department, stating that new laser technology could actually shoot it down. We are living in the era of Star Wars, and it's insane. And I don't even understand how this stuff works, but apparently new laser guns are on new ships on the USS Zumwalt, which have had some pretty big failures, and you can look into that yourself, very expensive program, but they've already been equipped with laser guns. The guns are not on, but the infrastructure for those guns are. So now, according to the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, in a recent release, they said, we are closer than ever to lasers that can stop Iranian or North Korean missiles. And if you look at it, it does look like something outside of Star Wars. And to me, this is just amazing that the United States is now developing laser guns. We are actually in Star Wars, and I'm not talking Ronald Reagan's failed Project Star Wars. I'm talking Star Wars as in, the movie. And it's just incredible. Alright, but now I want to move on to something we talked about with France and Frexit now could be coming to Germany. No, Germany is not leaving the European Union, but Germany's Interior Minister, Thomas de Maizière, I think that's how I pronounce it, Maizière, has called for a partial ban on the burqa, a day after saying a full ban might not be constitutional. He said the burqa did not fit with Germany's open society, and showing the face was essential to social cohesion. We call on everyone to show their face, he said. The proposal would prevent anyone from wearing a veil in schools, universities, nurseries, public offices, or while driving. Interesting. Especially with a large influx of Muslims into Europe. Is this the right way to go? Is the same question I asked the other day. Do we go with the idea that Islam cannot mold with Western society? Let's not forget, it wasn't too long ago, maybe a couple 100,000 years ago, that, and I say 100,000 years ago, that the Islamic world led the world in science, technology, and was by far at the forefront of almost everything. And it was the Christian society that was the barbaric, head-chopping off, destructive one, similar to ISIS today. Think about the Crusades, and think about, all the devastation that Christians and Catholics did to one another and other people for not following their religion. And the Islamic world, might we remember, invented many of the things we use today, from algebra to the modern crutch to a whole host of other things. And it's incredible how the tables have turned, so to speak. And I'm wondering if they will turn back, or if we can live together. And when I see articles like this, I understand where both sides are coming from. I don't know who I side with. I think I would lean more towards the side of let people do as they please. But again, we are in a time of heightened security, but then we can look back to what Benjamin Franklin said. One who's willing to sacrifice security for liberties for security deserves neither. So Germany depriving people of their liberty for security reasons, and for, I mean, I'm assuming that is what the underlying reason is security, not what they state, open society. I think that's a bunch of malarkey. I think they're doing it for security reasons, but I think that if they're going to sacrifice people's liberty, they're going to lose their trust, they're going to lose their willingness to participate in their society, and, you know, I think that ultimately could be dangerous. And, you know, I think in reality, Europe is not handling this right. I mean, look at Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, who is Muslim. He's just launched London's night tube service. He's doing all sorts of amazing things for Londoners, and, you know, I just get the vibe that Islam is going to mold in. It'll westernize, but it will mold into European society. And I'm just a little concerned if along the way there we lose our way, if the European countries, lose their way, what will happen? So, I don't know, you be the judge on that one. Now I want to move on to another story about the Bin Laden family. So, Osama Bin Laden's son says that they should get rid of the Saudi royal family. That doesn't sound too bad, but the reasons why, well, let's just say he's Osama Bin Laden's son. Here's an audio clip to explain a little bit more, then we're going to have a talk about it.
5 years since U.S. Navy SEALs killed al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden at a compound in Pakistan. Since then, more and more details have emerged about bin Laden's last moments, President Obama's decision to go through with the raid, and more. Obama spoke with CNN about the raid, giving an interview for the first time from the Situation Room. That's the same room this now famous picture comes from, showing Obama and several high-profile White House staffers receiving updates on the night of the raid.
The final thing the president said in the interview was that it gave him satisfaction to think that in his final moments, bin Laden would have realized that an American had come to take revenge or seek justice for the 3,000 Americans he killed on 9/11.
On Sunday, the CIA marked the anniversary by live tweeting the raid. The agency tweeted as if the raid were happening right then and there. Operation Neptune Spear began in the late hours of May 1st, 2011. After gaining entry into the compound, members of SEAL Team 6 killed the terrorist group leader around 1 a.m. local time on May 2nd. Obama's full interview airs Monday on Anderson Cooper 360. For Newsy, I'm Jay Struberg.
So that is just a little recap, but now to move on to the story of today. So after that raid, you would imagine there, like in every good movie, is a sequel. There's a movie after. After Darth Vader died, the Sith are not gone. There is just a different Sith. And similar to the new Star Wars, the Sith is a weird little pansy who takes his mask off and is just odd. We have another little sissy who's got a baby face trying to be bad. Osama bin Laden's son, an heir, appears to have resurfaced in an audio message after months of silence, promoting renewed speculation over the leadership of al-Qaeda. Hamza bin Laden, understood to be 23 or 24 years of age, was not found among the bodies after Central Intelligence Agency raided in 2011 on the Pakistan compound housing the world's most wanted terrorist. His whereabouts are unknown, but some experts think he's being carefully stage managed by al-Qaeda's leadership to one day take over his father's role. In the undated message released by the militant group's media wing, the young bin Laden calls for jihadist groups of Syria to unite and use the country's conflict as a springboard to liberate Palestine. His message echoes another released 1 day before from the current leader of al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri, who appeared to praise the work of the group's affiliate in Syria. Both call for unity among warning Islamist groups of Syria despite the Al-Qaeda offshoot's ideological clash with the Islamic State, also known as ISIL or ISIS, is more media-savvy rival. Which is kind of interesting how, I mean, if you just grasp that for a minute, I remember, just to offshoot a little bit here, how Al-Qaeda released in a press statement that ISIS was even too much for them, and you know that when Al-Qaeda says it, there's something wrong with you. So according to Satellite Intelligence Monitoring Group, bin Laden's message largely focuses on Israel, who alongside the U.S. represents Al-Qaeda's favored target under Osama. He has said, the blessed Syrian revolution has made the prospect for liberating Jerusalem more likely. He continues on to talk about Saudi Arabia, which is what I wanted to get to. The fact that he wants to overthrow the Saudi royalty, which could be interesting. Because the fact of the matter is, Saudi is where he is from. The royalty in Saudi Arabia, he says, is tainted by the West. So now we're looking at Osama bin Laden's son seeking to destroy the Saudi Arabian government, destroy Israel, and destroy the United States, all at 23, 24 years old. Well, if that isn't ambitious, I don't know what is. But I guarantee he won't be around for much longer. He seems to be a little puppet. Just kind of like the guy from Star Wars. I can make a lot of Star Wars analogies because I love Star Wars. So, I think that explains that. And I think it explains to the point that Osama bin Laden's son, who is a revenge-crazy lunatic, is, well, probably not going to succeed. So, from Asia to Islam to every corner of the world seems to be in a troubling place. Whether it's aggressive China, destructive North Korea, or whatever the hell is going on in the Middle East, it seems that the world is ever more likely to collapse in on itself, be it that we have globalized, become, as Carl Sagan would put it, a type 1 society, a global society. But the scariest part is the international government body we use, the United Nations, is, well, rather ineffective. While it is a good tool, it seems to not do much. It seems that the armies of the world, or strengths of the world, need to come together and agree what type of world we want to live in. I don't think that democracy can coexist with a radical Islamic ideology pressing forward in the Middle East. I don't think democracy can exist with controlled economies such as China continuously cheating. I think that the world needs to come together and make a clear effort which way we want to go, or which way we don't want to go. I mean, it's pretty obvious that as time goes on, I think China will liberalize. And what I mean by liberalize is they will grow more open to the international community, and in the next coming decades, I do not think China will be the same. I do not think that they will have restrictions on Facebook, on YouTube. I think that China will be, well, more identical to the United States than ever before. More like a Korea or a Japan. I don't foresee communism and centralized planning as the way of the future. I also think that in the future we're going to see a large growth in environmental awareness. But that is not the episode I want to talk about today. The show I really care about talking about today is the just blatant destruction, disregard, and stupidity that has plagued, or rather than stupidity, I'd use the word greed, that has displayed itself within our countries and globe and nations around the world. It is almost scary to me to think that in Asia we have one country expanding its borders because of its greed. In North Korea we have people leaving the country because of the country's greed. In the Middle East, we have people killing each other because if you don't believe in my religion or the way I interpret my religion, or greed, then I will kill you. And the notion that our world is at its most peaceful time is absolute ludicrousy. So, just to continue with this episode, I kind of want to pull a Rick moment here and quote him when I say that the world is going to hell on a silver platter. If we don't turn ourselves around, we are in for big, big trouble. And it seems that, well, our governments are failing us, that the world is, in some circumstance, more dangerous than ever before. And it's going to take brave leadership, smart leadership, and wise leadership to get us out of the hole we are currently in. I'm scared to think that we can't even do that. Because if you think about it, in this weird world in which we live, is it plausible that our country and the countries around the globe are falling to corruption? I think so. To greed? I would plead yes. And I think we are all guilty of ignorance. So you decide and you be the judge, but for today that's my point of view. What's yours? I'll catch you tomorrow, 7 o'clock, same time, same place. And don't forget to tune in this Saturday to my show, Opinion Nation, where will be my last time from sunny New Jersey, before I head on down to Washington, D.C., where I'll be reporting from there. But until then, I'm Bryce Robbins. Tune in later for more.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
All riders are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be worth it. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits to full-length novels and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money.
One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.